Hello, everybody. My name is Kevin,
It's Thomas.
and we're going to tell some stories today about our lives. We went on a random question generator website, and the question that we got was, "Where did we grow up?" And we'll kind of elaborate on that and say where we grew up and what kind of stories happened in our childhood.
Yeah.
So I'll start off. So I grew up in Arizona. Much we both did,
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah, we both grew up in Arizona. I grew up sort of in the middle of Mesa, and I was born, and nothing. There isn't many prominent things that happened in my life, at least that I can remember when I was born. Um, there's a funny, there's a funny story about when I was in preschool. I was 4 years old or something, because you could only be up to 4 years old, and there's like a room for breakfast, like before school, and so we went in there, and it was also the room that the 1 year olds were in, like after breakfast was over.
Yeah.
And so I went in there and I had breakfast, but I was really tired, and so I fell asleep. And I woke up later that day, like way later that day, uh, covered in like vomit and drool because the teachers never woke me up. They just like let me stay there, and then all the 1 year olds like were all over me and like drooling and throwing up all over me. And so like the teachers never said anything. That's all I remember from when I was like anything lower than kindergarten.
Oh.
Like that's like, well, at least school wise.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure there are some things that I remember from when I like around that time. Like I think my parents got divorced when I was like 2 or 3. So it didn't really impact me that much. I think it might have impacted my brother a little bit because he was 5 years older than me.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how much it really impacted him. Uh, I would say my childhood was like it wasn't bad. Like, well, childhood's kind of weird because we're still like
Children.
kind of children. Yeah. Like, I feel like up to high school is what we could talk about,
Yeah.
or I think up to junior high because I feel like we have way more stories to talk about with junior high.
Yeah.
So we could go up to like sixth grade and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's all I remember specifically for like preschool wise. Did you go to preschool at all?
I did go to preschool.
Do you have any stories about preschool?
Do I? Well, there was this rumor that I kissed a girl's hand once, but I never wanted to admit to that. I still don't remember doing it.
Oh.
She said that I liked her, and I said no. I was scared of girls.
And you still are.
Very much indeed.
I there's a story of you know how we had like nap time and stuff.
Yeah.
So
I cried under the Lego table.
that's amazing. That's a
So
really good story.
my mom would so here's the thing, I never wanted to go to preschool or the daycare thing, so I'd like go there every so often, right?
Yeah.
And I never wanted to be there, so I would get there, start screaming because I wanted my mom.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then when she left, I would there was this like this table, and it was just full of Legos. Like it was a cool table because it looked like a Lego, and then like there was like bowls in it that were just full of Legos.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
I
I
had
would-
one like that kind of.
But then I'd run to it, go under it, hug the pole, and cry until my mom came back.
Oh jeez, wow.
I don't know why I
That's
did
crazy.
that.
I think my mom told me that my brother would be like that. Like he really didn't want to be away from her when he went to preschool.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know if he went to preschool or not. I think I might have been the first, but like when either he went to preschool or like kindergarten or something, and then she told me that I would just be like, I would just fucking go, and so like I guess I just like didn't care, which I mean I guess that kind of like I don't know. I don't even know. I fell asleep right in the middle of the breakfast room, so I mean maybe that applied to it.
Yeah.
But a great story about nap time was I was like pimping when I was in like when I was like 4.
You were pimping?
Yeah, I was like
I got
pimping.
stories about pimping.
Oh yeah, because there was one time that we had like nap time, and I was like really close with these 2 girls.
Yeah.
And we would sleep next to each other during nap time, and so I was like straight up pimping.
So you were like sleeping with girls before you were even hitting puberty.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Before I like even knew any words. No, I was like 4 before I knew how to make sentences correctly.
In kindergarten, that's when I was really pimping, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I remember at the end of every day, I don't know why, but like my class had to go into another class for the last 10 minutes until the bell rang.
Hmm.
But every time I went in there, these two girls always wanted to be near me,
Yeah.
and they would fight over where I got to. Like they always wanted me to sit next to them, and I was
Uh-huh.
like, ladies, I'll sit in between you. And I also remember this one time, I said butt in front of a girl. I said this turtle has a butt,
Uh-huh.
and this girl said, "I'm telling the teacher that you said that." And I remember screaming
Oh my god.
because I was so scared I would get in trouble.
Oh man, and did you?
She didn't say anything to the
Oh,
teacher,
good.
so I just looked like an idiot in front of my class.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like barely have any memories of it, but all of them are like really good for kindergarten. But like, so I went to Taft Elementary School, which isn't very far, for like a week or so, because my brother went to Taft, all from like kindergarten to fourth grade or something like that. Um, and so I went there for like a week or so, and when he was in fourth grade, he went there for like a week, and then we moved like way farther away. We used to live like around this area that I live still, but then we moved to like 10 miles away, and so then we went to a school named Johnson Elementary School. Go Jayhawks. And then I went to kindergarten for the rest of the time there, and I remember I got there and my parents, they both worked like, at the time I was just living with my dad and my stepmom at the time.
Yeah.
And I had to do this 2 class thing because I think at that time it might have just been my school, but it might have been like most elementary schools for kindergarten. It was like I went to my class in the morning, and then since my parents both weren't off of work, I had to go into another class for the second half of the school day.
Yeah.
So I was basically at school for all the other time that the other kids were, like all the first through sixth grade.
Yeah.
But then in my actual class, there was like another class going for the second half of the day for like the people whose parents worked in the morning. So like it was kind of weird. Like I was there for the whole day and they weren't, but like they were there for like the later half of the day. It was kind of weird. But I have like such fond memories of that, of the second half class. There, like the teacher was like this old woman who was like kind of heavy, and she had like long black hair, and she would always like pick like songs from a hat,
Yeah.
to like talk about. And I remember like the only one I really remember at all was the Purple People Eater song.
Yeah.
And we like sang that all the time, because it was like our favorite, because it's a purple people eater,
Yeah.
and that song's just great. I don't know. One of the biggest stories I can remember from that specific class was there was a kid in my class who was like really obnoxious, and he would always like run around and cry a lot. Wait, I mean, it makes sense. It's kindergarten.
Yeah.
But he would cry all the time and like throw fits, and the teacher would have to like try and stop him, and he would like be running around the class, and she would try and go after him, and he went under a desk one time, and she like tried to get him, and then she tripped and broke her leg.
Oh.
Yeah, and like I remember it was like terrifying for all of us, and like I don't think she ever had any sick days or anything, so she like came with a cast and everything, and it was like really weird.
Oh.
That's like all I remember mostly from kindergarten.
Yeah, I don't remember too much about kindergarten. Not really much about first, second, or third. All I remember is being a teacher's pet in first, second, and third in the first quarter of fourth before I moved to Patterson
Yeah.
because my parents divorced. I never even remember what age I was when they divorced.
Mhm.
But I went to Patterson, and I had like no friends for the first year,
Yeah.
which sucked.
Mhm.
And I remember I would play football,
Yeah.
and then fifth grade came, and then I stopped playing football because I was like, I don't want to play football.
Yeah. That
And
makes
then
sense.
so I played on the playground all the time.
That's cool.
And then there was this kid named CJ.
Mhm.
He's an asshole.
Yeah.
He wanted to fight me this school year.
Oh,
Yeah, which was well,
is he the CJ that I know, or is it a different CJ?
it's a different CJ.
Oh, okay.
But he was just like he would say he's my friend, and then it would be like 2 weeks, and then he'd be like, oh, I'm not your friend anymore,
Oh,
and
that's
then
weird.
I'd be like, shit. And
Yeah.
I would be really upset, and then like he would like steal all my other friends away from me because like he
Oh,
would like threaten them,
that sucks.
and I was like, well, asshole.
Yeah, basically.
And
That makes
then
sense.
there's this one kid, his name was Daniel, but he went by Dano because he loved dinosaurs. So instead of
It was like
Daniel
Dano.
and Dino
Yeah.
together were Dano,
Mhm.
and he was the coolest kid ever.
He sounds cool.
He would wear like Coyote Peterson.
Yeah.
He would wear hats like him,
That's pretty
and
cool.
it was the greatest thing ever. He was the coolest guy.
He
I've
sounds
ever
really
met.
cool.
But I haven't talked to him in forever,
Mhm.
and I don't even have his number anymore. But
Yeah.
oh well. And 7th grade was when I got my first girlfriend,
Nice.
and that was a mistake. I
First
was I was,
girlfriends are usually mistakes.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I was 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I had fucking blue hair.
Oh, jeez.
So I looked like a faggot already.
Yeah.
People called me a faggot a lot in 7th and 8th grade.
That's not good.
Yeah.
I have a story about that actually.
Yeah, I remember in 8th grade, that the first girlfriend, she would walk by this one girl, and like I would be walking to my class, and then they would just be like, "Oh, you're such a faggot,"
Mhm.
and then I would be like, "Well,
That's kind of rude, but
Yeah,
I guess I can't really stop you.
You want to know something funny about my first girlfriend? One time I hugged her, and she grabbed my hands and put it on her butt. She's a hoe, by the way.
Oh, okay.
And then she did that, and I remember I freaked out, and I was like, I gotta go, and I ran to the band room.
Oh, jeez.
And then 7th grade, I mean 8th grade.
Mhm. Yeah, I like that. I like that reaction. So funny too, because I never started doing that. Like I never started masturbating until I don't know. I think I might have been in 6th grade, but like the latter half of 6th grade. But I'm not exactly sure. I don't
didn't-
remember the exact day.
When did I start? I started at like the very end of 8th grade,
Mhm.
and then like I kind of stopped,
Yeah.
and then I did it over summer,
Mhm.
and then it's just like oh, well.
Became like a
It's just like
a normal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I
I do
remember
it at least like 10 times a day.
I remember I like skipped. I would always skip the, what is it? The sex ed.
Yeah.
Like classes. Like they never were really important to me. I think I would see them sometimes. Like there would be like multiple days for it, maybe like a whole week or something for it,
Yeah.
and I would only go to like 2 days or something, because I just didn't really care for it. Like by the time that, and I think they still show them like freshman year of high school.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They like
By that time, everyone knows about it already, so
Yeah.
like it's not a big deal. I think you like actually fully understand it at like 8th grade, maybe at the end of 7th grade.
Yeah, I didn't learn about certain things until I met you.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I learned a lot like very young. I don't. It's not really even like for any reason. I guess like all my friends at the time just like we all learned stuff and then we all talked about it to each other, and it just like became part of our everyday lives that we just talked about it.
Do you want to know how I learned about 69?
How?
So this was in 8th grade,
Mhm.
and I remember people would say 69 a lot because like funny.
Oh
sex.
yeah, I learned about that in 6th grade. People would say that, and I had no idea.
I had no idea what it was, and then I was like, I remember I came home, and then I said I don't know, because like me and my brother like we would talk randomly. I was like, people say like 69 in my school, but I don't know what it means. And then he said, keep in mind, I was in 8th grade, so he was in like 3rd or 4th grade.
Mhm.
And then he was like, oh, it's like when the two people are having sex and they're like the opposite way, so they look like 69. I'm like,
Yeah,
how do you know this?
yeah, that's weird.
So I don't know what my brother does in his free time.
Yeah. Damn. I'm trying to think if there are like any stories, because I don't really have any stories of like at least young, like being younger and learning stuff about sex. Like I never walked in on my parents doing anything.
Same.
Well, my parents were together, but I never walked in on like my dad and my stepmom doing anything.
Yeah.
And I never really like learned anything. Like it just like came through time. It wasn't like I learned anything from like jokes or anything. It was just like I found out about it. I don't really like. I think when it became like every day that we would like make jokes or like just talk about it,
Yeah.
at least between me and my friends, was maybe like 8th grade, and then we just like at that time that was like the time where we figured out everything and we knew how everything worked and stuff. so we just like went with it, and it's kind of weird because when do they like start showing you sex ed stuff? I think it's like sixth grade
Yeah,
because I remember going to one in sixth
because
grade.
in fourth grade they talked about puberty. Fifth grade was puberty, and then like they kind of talked about like the girls thing. And then
Yeah.
sixth grade is like when they started mentioning it. And then I don't remember if they did it for me in seventh or eighth grade. It was one of the years,
Hmm.
but I remember it was really stupid because like the dude who was teaching us about it taught us it for like a day,
Hmm.
and then the rest of the time would tell us like about how he bikes.
Yeah.
It was so stupid. He was like, "Yeah, one time I drove from like, I mean, not drove. I rode a bike from like Canada to Mexico." And we're
Damn.
like, I'm like,
Jesus.
I mean, yeah, that's like, whoa,
that's a lot.
yeah. But I was like, I'm here to learn about sex.
Yeah, yeah. I remember learning about puberty in sixth grade, and I think maybe they like I feel like they talk about uh the girl like the female body for
Yeah.
guys and the male body a little bit for girls.
Yeah.
Because like the male body isn't as complicated as the female
Yeah, the
body is,
female-
especially through puberty.
Yeah,
So I feel like they focus on that a lot more, and then they ease into sex ed through
Yeah.
that.
because then they're like, don't do sex.
Yeah, because like
but no
they're
one listens.
because if they tell sixth graders and fifth graders about sex stuff, they're just gonna laugh
yeah,
and like make jokes about it. And like then they start doing it for seventh and eighth graders, and they still laugh and make jokes about it, but they still understand it way more than
Yeah.
people in elementary school.
and then
would.
in ninth grade, it's just like, well, this is sex.
Yeah, this is just a thing. It's
Mhm.
gonna happen to people now, and I think that's weird because like it's like gotten to the point like now in like this time that like it happens so much more often, and so it gets younger every year.
Yeah, like
I know
it's-
people that like when I was a freshman, people that were younger than me
we're doing it.
were having sex. Yeah.
Yeah, there was like I remember. Oh, speaking of my first girlfriend, I remember one time. This was before. No, this was after we dated.
Mhm.
I remember overhearing her. I have a lot of stories about her,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and but I remember she was like, "Oh, I had the first time I had sex was lesbian sex in sixth grade," and I was like,
Jeez.
Jesus fuck.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like I never even like saw like boobs or anything from a girl. Like I still like have barely seen like real life.
Yeah,
Uh
I have
like I have, it was just really dark.
yeah,
But like I don't think I saw like boobs in person until I was like maybe a junior, maybe a sophomore.
I was that's the first time I saw boobs.
Yeah. So like thinking of people having sex in like sixth grade or
It's,
like
like,
junior high, yeah,
insane.
it's so crazy.
And like the body isn't even like has it like barely
It's
even
not-
started
yeah,
puberty.
Yeah, that's so crazy. I mean, some people start early, but that's still insane. Like, oh, I can't even like imagine that. And how would you even like find time for that?
Yeah.
Like, that's so weird.
I mean, she was trashy anyway. So
Well, I'm sure,
yeah.
yeah.
it's like it's always like I don't want to sound like just like stereotypical stuff, but it's like always like certain groups of people who are doing it super early on.
Yeah, I feel like it's mainly like popular people.
Yeah, it's always
Because like
popular
they're
people.
because they're the popular people. They're the ones who are like starting the new crazes of like people liking things.
Mhm.
Like the popular people, like at least in my school, they would all play the same games at like recess and stuff.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's how it was at my school.
yeah.
You were like the cool kid if you would play Foursquare.
yeah, Foursquare was the
Mhm.
thing in my school too. Was that at Patterson?
Mhm.
Yeah, Patterson. The Foursquare craze started at my school in fifth grade, and you came in your fourth grade year, which
Yes.
was
So you were a sixth grader.
I was a sixth grader and you were a fourth grader.
Yeah.
So okay, yeah, because I came in my fourth grade year as well. And so the Foursquare craze, or no, it started my fourth grade year. Like no one played Foursquare at all, and it was like all basketball. And then halfway through the year, it switched, and everyone
Mhm.
just started playing Foursquare. And it was definitely because of like popular people.
Yeah.
Because all the popular people my fourth grade year, that were in my class were like all playing basketball. They were all like sports people.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like true for most elementary schools. Is all the popular people are like the fit ones
Yeah.
that play sports all the time, and it's kind of different for high school. Like it's like weird how people get popular in high school because it's just like you have a lot of friends. Maybe you're in like student council or something,
Yeah.
so a lot of people know you.
And or like
And
you're a
it's just
football
like
player.
and it's or a football player, and you just got to have like a good personality
Mhm.
and like be like likable.
And then usually, or it's like someone who like seems like a good person and they're just an asshole.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's exactly how it worked in fourth grade. There were all the popular guys, at least, were like all sports guys. They played basketball or football or baseball or something, and then they all started playing Foursquare. And me and my friends would just nonstop play Foursquare.
Yeah.
From fourth through the end of fifth grade, me specifically just played tons of Foursquare, and I got really good at it. And they had competitions, actually, like actual, like the school would host competitions for Foursquare for the kids. It was kind of dumb how they did it, because at least this is how we played. Is there are the four squares, and then one square is like the king square, and whoever is the king square shoots the ball 1st, and um, if you get the king out, then the king has to go back in the line, and whoever's in the second square goes into the king square, and so it goes like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 being the king square.
Yeah.
And it was kind of dumb how they like saw who won the game. Like for Foursquare, they would just pick a random square, or a random part of the square, and so like if you were in square 3, then you would win, which makes no sense. I feel like it should be the people that are in the first square should win. And so they just picked a random square. There were like 8 different like courts, I guess. For Foursquare, and they would just pick a random square for each, and then those 8 people would go into 2 squares, and then they pick 1 square for each of those, and then the 2 people that won or got the correct square would win. I think it was a coupon or like a free drink at what's the place, Jamba Juice, because Jamba Juice was like the shit when you're in kindergarten, or not kindergarten, just elementary school in general. But yeah, I played Foursquare all of 4th grade, all of 5th grade, and then I got into in 6th grade I found some new friends, and they were like kind of like the emo people. It's kind of weird to say that it was like an emo group kind of phase that I had, because it was in 6th grade, but like that's what it was. Like definitely, that can be a whole nother episode, is me talking about 6th grade, because that's like most of my memories is all of that, and like the specific people I hung out with. But for 4th and 5th grade, it was just like playing video games. I was like a nerd. I was just like played video games, played like anything, just hung out, and like I did good in school basically. But it's not hard to do good in school in like elementary school.
Yeah. I in 4th grade it was just like because I was the teacher's pet, like I really had to do nothing in class, and when I was at my old school. And then when I got to 4th grade, like I wasn't used to like actually doing work, so I was always so far behind in the class. And I remember I always had to make work up. And then 5th grade was fine, and that's when I got to do fucking BizTown.
Oh, BizTown! Please talk about BizTown.
Okay, so this is like BizTown takes like a whole month of preparation before you actually do this.
And you have to get selected to go and do it, right?
I think so, yes. Like, so this is like you have to okay, so BizTown is like this building, and there's a bunch of like businesses in it, and one of the coolest ones, I didn't work at it though, but they had like Wii's and stuff there.
That's cool.
And like people who worked there, like some people's jobs there was just to play the Wii the whole time.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
But you have to learn. It's like a month of you just learning about business and like how to go to the bank and stuff. And
do you remember like anything?
Fuck no. I was a 5th grader.
I feel like
I remember some of it.
I feel like it could be really useful.
It was useful.
Like it could be even more useful, like maybe junior high or like a freshman.
Yeah. The thing is that like so I wanted to be the camera guy of the news station, because I thought like, well, that'd be fun. And I remember putting on my resume, quote unquote, I had to put like why I wanted to be a cameraman, like what qualities I would have or whatever, and like why I would be a good one. And I remember I put like why I really wanted to, and then I put like what's like, do I have any experience, and I put I make YouTube videos.
And you did make YouTube videos.
I did make YouTube videos. I started making YouTube videos in fourth grade, maybe.
Mhm.
My first video was a Minecraft video.
That makes sense.
Uh,
That's like
I feel like
I
that's
think like because you were fourth grade, I was sixth grade. Yeah, that sounds like the time that Minecraft became popular.
yeah, it
Because
was.
I
It
was in
was when it
sixth
was
grade.
booming.
That's like right when it came out too. Because
Mhm.
I think when I was in sixth grade, it was like either 2011 or 2012.
Yeah, it was like
and it came out in 2011.
yeah, it came out in 2011, but 2012 is when it really started
Yeah,
getting
so it was like
popular.
probably just it was like the 2011 2012 year
Yeah.
of school.
Yeah,
So I think that makes sense why it would be like just around the time that well you went to Biztown in fifth grade, right?
yeah,
Yeah, and you started making videos in fourth grade.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then so one day the teachers were like, okay, so like next week these people are going to come in and you have to go to your job interview for
Mhm.
what you want, and you had to pick three things you wanted to do. My first thing was to be a camera guy, and then I forgot what the other two were.
Mhm.
But when I went there, I was the one who got the camera guy place, and it was great because I was like, yo, I'm a fucking cameraman. Except I don't think I said fucking.
Yeah,
'Cause,
probably, yeah.
I don't think I cursed. And I can. That's another story. The first time I cursed.
Oh, that's a great story.
It is a great
Yeah.
story.
I remember I cursed for the first time in like sixth grade, and it was like it was with one of my emo friends
Yeah.
and my stepbrother at the time, which
Yeah.
he's a whole nother story. I can talk about him for a while, but because we hated each other.
Oh.
But part of the story of me cursing is like we were walking. I don't know if we were walking home, but we were walking just like toward the park or something.
Yeah.
And my emo friend cursed a lot, and so I cursed in front of him, but I never cursed in front of my brother.
Yeah.
And so I like said shit or fuck or bitch or something.
Yeah.
And he like thought it was like cool the first time, and then like the times after that, he would like want to like tell on me.
Oh.
And like I didn't really care because I didn't like him, so it wasn't really a problem.
Yeah.
But it probably got to me a little bit. But it was just like it's a new thing and it's fun.
Yeah. But continuing on Biztown.
Yes.
The day that came, right?
Yeah.
I looked super nice.
I'm
I
sure.
dressed up real fancy.
Yeah.
Except for the fact I was the camera guy, so no one really saw me.
Yeah.
But we got there, and then they told us like what we had to do, and it was the greatest shit to exist, man.
I'm sure.
I went to the news station, and I had complete control over all the TVs and speakers in the building,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, that sounds great.
And like we had one of my tests was like I really just had to record everything, but I had to like help come up with an idea for an ad.
Mm-hmm.
And so I came up, I don't even remember what the ad was for.
Yeah.
But like one of the people at the news place, like their job was to do like all the hard work for me. So like to do like my bank stuff or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had to like do that for me because that was their job.
Yeah.
And so it just helped me out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember going on lunch break because I had the first lunch break.
Yeah.
And then so I ate and I came back, and then like a bunch of other people weren't coming back yet. And then the news anchor that was there, she was Mormon.
Mm-hmm.
And you know the Mormons, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know of them.
You know them.
Yeah.
But like she was like one of the really strict ones.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
I'm talking like one of those ones.
Mm-hmm.
But she was like, people need to come back, and then so she took control of the speakers. She was like, turn on the speakers, and I was like, no. And then she was like, do it, and I was like, okay. So I turned on the speakers, and then she would say, lunch break A is over. Report back to your stations. I'm like, I don't think we're supposed to be doing this.
Yeah.
I never turned, like, she wanted me to turn on the cameras, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And I only got to use the cameras a few times. So like basically I just walked around a lot because I didn't really have like I finished all my things the first within the first like hour. And it was fantastic.
It sounds great. I never, because was that just like a 1 day thing?
Yeah, it was a 1 day thing. I wish it was like a whole year.
Yeah, that sounds fun. It was in a completely different building, right?
Yeah, it was like a field trip. We drove somewhere. I don't even remember where it was.
Yeah,
but the place was called J.A. Biztown.
Nice. Yeah, I'm trying to think that. So that was fifth grade for you. Did you do science camp?
No, they stopped that.
Yeah.
This is what they did for us though. They did the YMCA thing.
I never did that.
Yeah, because it was like new when I got there. This is what they did. So they're like, oh, science camp's canceled, and so the YMCA thing was, we had to go to school so early in the morning,
Mhm.
and this was like a week, no, like a few days before Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
and like it was, we had to get to school really early, and then we uh drove, and then like we got on a bus. It was a charter bus because it was really fucking far, and so we were driving, and I was like, oh, this is fun. And I remember just watching like YouTube the whole way up with my friend Harrison,
Yeah.
which he just disappeared. I don't know
Oh,
where he
jeez.
went. He was like really cool, and he got me into like a bunch of video game stuff.
Yeah.
Which was like the whole, like kind of the biggest spark of my like me loving video games.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He got me into
Mhm.
so many things, and it was just great.
Yeah.
And so we got there, and it was like it was like a summer camp thing, but in one day.
Uh-huh.
So like we got to do a bunch of things. One of my favorite thing was archery.
Mhm.
And I remember there's this one kid. His name was Morgan. He's like the worst human being to exist.
Yeah.
Flash forward into time. One day we were on the bus in 8th grade, and I had to sit next to him because there was no more seats on the bus,
Mhm.
and I absolutely hated it. And he just started eating paper.
What?
And then yeah, he just started eating paper, and he was like, and then he did this. Well, this surprisingly tastes better than goldfish.
That's amazing.
And I was like, okay, but then flash back in time, but like he was.
Snap back to reality.
Oh, there goes gravity. He like what was he? I don't even know what I was doing, but like he loved to make fun of me, and he
Yeah.
knew it pissed me off.
Uh-huh.
Because here's the thing, like when I get pissed off, I'm really pissed off.
Yeah.
It's just like a thing in like part of my family.
Yeah.
I control it the best out of everyone.
Uh-huh.
But I remember I was like this, and
Mhm.
then he was just saying shit to me, and I was like, I could turn around and shoot you right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Yeah, you're all set up.
I was set up to shoot him. Like I wanted to. I wanted to.
Uh-huh.
But like I was like, I'm a good Christian boy. And then I like, but like he kept saying shit, and I was like, and I like launched my arrow into the forest, and I had to go find it.
Aw,
and
damn.
it was awful. I didn't find it though. I remember I went in there, and I was like, here's another thing. This is when Slender Man was a big thing.
Oh yeah.
And
so that sounds
and it was
scary.
already like starting to get dark out
Uh-huh.
there, and it was like it terrified
Did you
me.
find that piece of paper he ate? And then had a picture of Slender Man on it.
No, I did not find it. But then I remember so there was a lunch break and a dinner break, but I didn't get home until like 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
I remember my mom got me Jack in the Box. It was fantastic.
Nice. That sounds great.
It was fantastic.
I used to not like Jack in the Box actually because I
Really?
got their applesauce
Oh.
and I didn't like it, and then I just hated Jack in the Box.
Oh.
But now I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But like the lunch and dinner there was both like awful turkey because it was close to Thanksgiving, and like the
Yeah.
food was just gross looking. Like the gravy was like green.
Oh, gross.
I was like, oof. The desserts were the shit though. They
Oh,
were,
I'm sure.
mwah, the brownies, mwah.
Yeah.
I kissed every single one. And then, but at the very end of the day, oh, here's the thing. I was wearing a hoodie. It was like one of the ones that zip up all the way.
Yeah.
Every kid wanted one
Yeah.
of those. But
I had one of those. That was a creeper.
nice.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of you.
Yeah, I have it still.
I do. I want.
You can have it. I just
hell
hit me.
yeah! Hell yeah! But I remember it sucked because it was super windy and super cold up there because we were like high up in the mountains.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And like you know how like it has the eye thing so you can see.
Mhm.
It would just blow against my neck, and it was
Yeah.
it was like I don't know why it was the worst feeling ever. But at the end of the day, we got s'mores, and it was pretty beautiful. But I remember I was sitting on like one side, and like there's a thing like in front of us, and then there's like the middle row, the side rows. I was at the very end, and I remember I saw directly into the forest, and I just kept staring out there, and I was
Yeah.
like, Slender Man's gonna come over here and shove his boogie woogie tentacles up my ass. And I was just terrified. I remember
Yeah.
getting on the bus, and me and him started watching more stupid videos.
Nice.
And then I got home, and it was just great, and I just slept.
And yeah,
And
Jack in the Box.
I did get Jack in the
That's
Box.
pretty nice.
I think I ate a full ass monster taco.
Oh, nice.
And the thing was, I was a little boy.
Yeah, so that's
So-
actually a monster taco.
It was a monster taco. Now it's like a baby taco
Yeah.
to me because like I love it.
So that was 6th grade, right?
This was 6th
So-
grade.
Biztown 5th grade, YMCA or whatever.
Yeah, I had one
6th
more
grade.
field trip in 6th grade like that I can remember, and
What was it?
it was the space station thing.
Oh yeah.
The greatest thing ever.
Did you go somewhere or did it come to the school?
We went somewhere. We went
Oh,
to a
okay.
different school.
Oh yeah. Okay, I did that
Yeah.
one time. I don't remember what grade it was.
But I got the computer specialist
Oh,
number
yeah.
2 on the spacecraft,
Mhm.
and it was the greatest thing ever because one of my jobs was just to eat chocolate for like 10 minutes straight.
That sounds great.
It was fantastic. Like I had to like chew one of them. One of them I had to let them just like dissolve in my mouth. That was like the worst one because it took so long.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And but I remember like we would like give video calls or like the satellite thing or whatever. Like the
Mhm.
robot thing would be like a person who just came over to deliver mail or whatever.
Yeah.
And but like I got a computer and stuff and it was fun. But I finished all my stuff early, so I kind of just chilled in there and
That's
I would
pretty
just
good.
joke around. And it was really fun.
Mhm.
I really liked it because there was the space station, then there was like home command or whatever,
Yeah.
and then there was the satellite thing, which was like just a completely different room, so you didn't get to be in a spaceship.
Uh-huh.
Which so like mine was like the coolest place to be. Like if you were in there, like you were badass.
Mhm.
So it was just fantastic.
That sounds really good.
Oh, in 5th grade, I had the other field trip I remember was an aviation thing,
Mhm.
and I remember my teacher at the very end. Before I get into it, at the very end of it, we all got a certificate
Yeah.
being like we can fly planes.
Yeah.
Like, it's a joke. And the teacher was like, "Oh, class, do you want me to laminate your guys' stuff?"
Oh, nice.
And then we were like, "Yes."
Yeah, laminating is so cool.
But here's the thing. I never got it back. She forgot about them.
Oh.
None of us got our things back. No one ever reminded her. I always remembered, but I was too scared to ask her
Yeah.
about it. Because I thought they were just gone forever.
Yeah.
But I was very sad.
Oh, that sounds.
But I was the
awful.
best plane flyer out
I'm
there.
sure you were
I flew them.
better than the.
Dart
I forget
box.
what the boys' names are. Who were the guys that made the plane?
The Wright brothers.
Yes, the Wright brothers, first in flight.
Yep. I jumped in that plane and I was like barrel rolling.
I'm sure. That's pretty cool. That
Yeah.
sounds cool. I think I did the aviation thing, and I did the space shuttle thing.
Yeah.
I'm not positive if I did the aviation thing, but I remember. So I went to science camp in 5th grade.
Yeah.
And it's a 3-day thing.
Yeah.
So we stay up there, and it's like all the way up in Payson or Prescott or something. And so we go there, we drive for a while, and then we get there at about like dinner time.
Yeah.
And so we eat dinner, and then we go to sleep in these cabins. There's one cabin that's called George Cabin.
Yeah.
I was not in George Cabin. I forget exactly what cabin I was in. But George Cabin was at least at the time notorious for it being haunted.
Oh. I
And so
have a haunted story.
the people that were in George Cabin hated it because they were always scared the entire time.
Yeah.
But it led to an amazing thing night 2. So night 1 ends, or no, oh yeah, it was night 2. So night 1 ends, and I take a shower, and I remember this vividly. A kid named Caden was in my my room, as
Yeah.
well as a couple of my friends, and his dad was our chaperone, and they told a story while I was in the shower, which I didn't know about. That was whenever Caden would, or whenever anyone would say fire truck, Caden's dad would tickle him. Which I don't know. I don't see. They told the story while I was in the shower, so I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
I don't know why his dad tickles him when he hears the word fire truck.
That's weird.
But I
Fire
forgot.
truck doesn't stop for red lights.
I got out of the shower and I forgot my my towel.
Yeah.
And so I like poked my head out of the door and I was like, "Hey, could you guys hand me my towel?" And they were like, "Yeah." And then they're like, "Hey," one of them went up to me and they were like, "Could you say fire truck out loud?" Like, and they whispered it to me and I was like, "Fire truck." And then his dad started tickling him and I was really confused.
Mhm.
But then I came out and then they still didn't tell me anything about it. But that's the end of the first day. The second day, we woke up and it was time for breakfast. And before, like, if there's like a certain time, like say breakfast starts at like 10 in the morning and we get out there at 9:30, we have like 30 minutes to just chill until the doors open so we can
Yeah.
go get food. and there were these like it was like a pool table kind of thing, but it wasn't. It was not a pool table. It was just like a long like a long table that had sides up, and it was just long, and then two pits on the end that had pool balls in it. And me and two of my friends made up this game where you would just roll the balls towards the end, and if you ran out of balls um for like a certain amount of time or something,
Oh.
then you would win.
Mm-hmm.
And us three came up with that game, and then everyone started playing it. The entire fifth grade class of our school started playing
Sounds
it.
amazing.
I have videos of it somewhere, and I'll find them eventually. But our entire fifth grade class started playing it throughout the entire day and throughout the entire third day. But so we would just play that until we had to go get food. That's that breakfast time. The second day was the first day I ever had scrambled eggs with ketchup,
Yeah,
which is really good. I really enjoy it.
I like my eggs with syrup.
Syrup is also good.
Yeah.
I barely have. I don't really eat scrambled eggs very much, but I had it with ketchup that day and it was very good. Syrup is also very good.
Yeah.
The second day we did like activity kind of things. We did. I think. I don't think we did archery, but I think we did like some other stuff like rock climbing or something.
Yeah.
And then we did like an acting thing where we would have to like we would get a prompt and our cabin would have to act it. And then when night came, these people with like these super good telescopes would come and we would like look at planets and stuff. And I remember this part like vividly because I was like looking at all the telescopes and I wanted to look at all of them because like space is just awesome. And
Space is the best.
the people from my cabin went up to my cabin and I didn't know, and so I couldn't find anyone from my cabin, and so I was just freaking out and I started crying, and I was like, "What am I supposed to do? I don't know where to go because it's just in the middle of the forest, like right by the lunch building,
Yeah.
or like the food building, and so I didn't know how to get back to my cabin by myself from there." And so I was just freaking out, and I like went over to every person I could find, like that was a chaperone. I was like, "Where is my group?" um and so then they finally helped me and I went back up to my cabin. But here comes George Cabin. Is so George Cabin notorious for ghosts,
Yeah.
like ghost stories and stuff. Nothing with ghosts happened on the second night, but the entire camp and before the camp we were like, second night, water balloon fight. Doesn't matter what the parents say or what the people there say, we're doing a water balloon fight. And what we did was it was George cabin versus my cabin, and like at like 10 o'clock at night, I think our curfew was like 9.
Yeah.
At 10 o'clock at night, we wait for like all the parents to go to sleep, and we just go out front to our cabins, and we just do a water balloon fight. I didn't throw any water balloons. I was more of like a tactical person.
No.
So I like barely touched water balloons, and I was kind of just like by our cabin.
Yeah.
The parents found out immediately because we were very loud and we woke them up. I don't even remember how anyone got any water or anything.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy. But it was really fun. And then some of us got in trouble, but I barely remember anything. I don't think we got in that much trouble. The third day wasn't really much. It was just we ate food and then we left, and I think we got home a little late. But there wasn't anything specific.
Yeah.
That was like the main field trip in fifth grade. Then we had Camp Skyway
Oh.
in sixth grade, which is kind of like the same thing as science camp, but
I think.
it's like a day.
Yeah.
And then
I think that's what my thing was called.
maybe I'm not sure.
That might have been what it was. Skyway.
Skyway, yeah,
That sounds really familiar. I
Yeah.
think it was. It was like at the YMCA or whatever.
yeah, something like that. But that time I remember it. It's like the same thing as it's like the same thing as science camp, but it's like way less time.
Mhm.
But I remember I had a girlfriend at that time. That was like my first. It wasn't my first actual girlfriend, but like
Girlfriend.
my first like
Quote,
oh
unquote.
we called each other
Yeah.
girlfriend and boyfriend. And I was like really jealous at the time because she had a boyfriend before, and then like one of the camp counselors or whatever like said something to her and her ex-boyfriend that was like, what are you guys dating or something? And I like got super jealous
Oh yeah.
because I was a small child.
Yeah.
That's like all I remember from that camp though, because I remember certain things of sixth grade like very well, and then like nothing also.
Yeah. So in 8th grade, when I went to Washington D.C.,
Mm-hmm.
me and my friends, we fucking swear our room was haunted
Mm-hmm.
because this kept happening just randomly.
Mhm.
The bathroom door would just either close or open by itself,
Yeah,
and the sink would randomly turn on.
that's weird.
And we were like, "Well, fuck." And then this one night, we get a phone call, right?
Mm-hmm.
I pick it up. I'm like, "Hey, what up?"
Mm-hmm.
And then the person's like, it was a girl talking, and she's like, "Hi, I'm Katie from California."
Yeah.
That's what I refer to her as now because that's how I knew her,
Mhm.
Katie from California.
Yeah.
And she was like, I was like, "Oh, hi," and she's like, "Yeah, we're in the floor, like one of the rooms on the floor below you guys, because like the guys and the girls had to have separate
Yeah.
like hotel rows because like they didn't want people to go in and start fucking each other."
Yeah.
Um, but and I was like, "Oh, hi," and then she was like trying to like I don't even know, but she was like asking us if we're hot, and then she was like, I want you guys to look for us tomorrow. Just look for the girl who has really big boobs." And I was like, "Okay," and then we didn't look for
Yeah.
anyone because we were just like, well, we're not gonna
Did
do
they know
anything.
who you were?
No, they just like
Oh,
they
okay.
just somehow learned our like they just somehow found out what our
Phone number was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
and like it was like I didn't know you could like call the other hotel
yeah,
rooms
that's kind
without.
of weird.
Yeah, so it was extremely weird.
Yeah.
But
Were they all people from your school?
no, they were like because like everyone who went to Washington D.C. there was people from like different states.
Oh yeah.
So she was from California.
Oh yeah, she was from California.
Yeah. So, but I just remember like talking to her. It was really weird.
Yeah, that sounds weird.
It was extremely.
And
weird.
like, if you did find her, then she's gonna be like, "Ha, you were looking at my boobs."
Yeah, I was like
If she was being like
serious.
serious.
Yeah. But like I was like I can't like go up like what if someone else had big boobs? What if I went up to them and was like, "Are you Katie from California?"
She was just looking right at her boobs. Hi, Katie from California.
Just like, "Hi, Katie from California." And but then I remember the next morning, breakfast was awful because the eggs tasted like rubber.
oh, gross.
I know what rubber tastes like because I've tried valve oil before.
Jeez, that's not good.
Me and Cyrus, we were like, if this was in 7th grade, we were like, I wonder what valve oil tastes like. So we got a little drop. I have a blister on my finger.
Oh, nice.
We got a little drop, and we went like, and we were like, this is gross.
Yeah, it's for valves on a trumpet.
I know, and it was disgusting.
Yeah. Oh man.
But and then what else happened in 8th grade? Oh, I was really sad because the bag I was using, like part of it broke off, and I was like, "This is
Like your
ass."
backpack?
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
yeah,
like
okay.
it was like one of those string bags that you
Mhm.
would pull, and it was a really nice one also. But
Uh-huh.
I was able to fix it.
For every single backpack I ever had, I never wear my backpack with both straps. I always use just the right strap.
noticed.
Yeah, I don't know why, and I always thought that was like a popular thing, but like everyone I see always uses both straps,
Mhm.
which is really weird to me. And so I always use one strap, which causes me to lean towards the right.
Yeah.
Like when I'm not using a backpack,
Yeah.
I lean towards the right because the backpack is always weighing my right side down.
Mhm.
And so like there was one time that I was like walking home one day, and the street was on my right side, and I like fell into it because I started walking off the edge because I was like on my phone or something, and I like walked off the edge and I like fell into the street, but I didn't like get hurt or anything. I just like fell and immediately got back up. I just think that's so weird, and I always thought that people wore one strap, but
Yeah.
I'm like one of the only people.
In 8th grade, I remember I was in guitar,
Mhm.
and this was in 2nd semester. I used to have a 2-strap backpack.
Yeah.
And then, but like I'd always carry my guitar around with me because I either always wanted to play it, and I just always took it from school and then took it home so I could always just play it whenever.
Yeah.
So I was like, it was extremely difficult to have a 2-strap backpack and then a guitar because mine had straps on it, so I'd
Mhm.
like to carry it on my back.
Yeah.
So I was like, whoa, I have a genius idea. In 3rd grade, I had a 1-strap. I had a satchel,
Oh, nice.
and it had skulls on it.
Satchels honestly aren't that bad.
They're I would love to still use that.
My brother would use satchels for school all the time.
Dude, I will use it
Mhm.
still.
Yeah.
I love them. Like,
Yeah, they're really like useful too.
I have a pine cone in it that I haven't taken out for like 5 years.
Nice.
But I remember I was just like, well, this is a genius idea. So I took it, and then I would use my backpack. I mean, I'd use the guitar with the two straps, and I'd have my satchel,
Mhm.
and then like I was just set.
Yeah.
You know, and it worked out perfectly.
Mhm.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. In 8th grade, I had a guitar solo,
Mhm.
and I was like, because when I joined guitar, I remember the first thing was like my parents were like, "You're gonna do a solo in your concert," and I
Cool.
was like, "Okay," but like I was like really nervous. I was extremely nervous, like even before I knew I was gonna have one. But I remember I went up to him and I was like, "Okay, Mr. Denny, I want to have a solo."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Okay, just prepare a song and I'll like check you out next week."
Yeah,
And so I played "Always" by Blink-182,
that's pretty good.
and it sounded. But I remember when the concert came, my heart beating so fast, me wanting to take the fattest shit in my life. I was so nervous. And then I got up there and I started playing, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was doing the first part,
Did
and
you
then
shit
like
yourself?
I wish that made a better story.
Yeah.
But like I was like, because I had to play. I had to go from like I had a capo on it, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
like something for the people listening to this. It's
Yeah.
something that you put on so that you can like change like the notes
Yeah.
or whatever. And then like so I had to play the notes, and I had to put my finger on it, and I had to like move it up the string, and then at one point I had to stay on the same note and keep strumming it. And so
Mhm.
I would use that time to like form my fingers into a chord.
Yeah.
I fucked that up so bad because I was doing it, and then like my finger slipped, and
Uh-huh.
like so it just made a disgusting sound, and I just was like, so I played it one last time, and I took a really deep breath, and I strummed it,
Uh-huh.
went to the next chord, strummed it, went to the third chord, and just strummed it, and
Yeah.
I was like, here I go, and then I went to the fourth chord, and I just went up and down really fast,
Uh-huh.
and then I just started playing, and I just remember it being like the greatest feeling ever.
Yeah.
It was just so amazing, and then I just loved getting to the main part because it just sounded so beautiful. And it was just like I had to go between 3 different notes, and I keep changing my fingers,
Mhm.
and then I would have to go back into the single strumming. And then I remember at one point I would have to go one strum, one strum, one strum on 3 different chords, and then on the fourth chord I would just go up and down really fast and do
Yeah.
that like 2 more times.
Uh-huh.
And then the last, and then so the last time I did it, I did the first one, then the second one, then the third one, and I just strummed it really slowly, and then I just sat there for a few seconds, and everyone was about to clap,
Yeah.
and I went to the fourth chord, and I was like, "Aight," and I started strumming really fast. I started playing the song, and then I ended, and I was like, "Holy fuck!" I sounded amazing, and
Yeah.
I got the loudest clapping and the loudest cheering for out of everyone in the concert because it was the guitar concert, the orchestra concert, and the band
Oh,
concert,
jeez.
and I got the loudest clapping out of anyone.
Nice. That's
and so
awesome.
it made me feel so good about myself.
Yeah. Were you
And
the only solo?
no, there was me, and then my friend played Adam's song.
Oh, nice.
And I remember after the concert, his mom went up to him and said, "Your friend Thomas did better than you."
Oh, damn.
And then there's 2 duets.
Oh, sweet.
I like when I did my solo, I wanted to sing, but I was like, I'm super self conscious
Mhm.
about singing,
That makes sense.
even though I want to do a band now.
Yeah.
But I'm not afraid to like sing anymore.
Mhm.
Like back then I was, and by back then I mean like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. So like I've just gotten a lot of self confidence since
Mhm.
then. But one of my that was like one of my most favorite memories ever. And I remember I used my dad's Hellcat guitar, and it is my favorite guitar to play ever.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
I think that's a good story to end off of.
Yeah, that was. It was pretty.
Well, I guess we'll come up with another episode
Yeah.
sometime.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.